All right, and welcome back from the break. And for those that are still joining us, this is Smart Means Business. Be the first to know all the updates regarding business across the country, town, and the world as well. And also, you can get up to speed with what is trending in the business world with expert analysis and exclusive interviews, all on one TV station and one show that kickstarts your day as we officially kick you into a business day and a business zone in that regard. But that aside, we are always entitled to understanding the issue of investment. And all of us are always pushed as far as we can to save or to make a living and then save something for future use. There is always a possibility of making good use of your savings. One, through investment, or you can do so by saving that money and using it without investing it. But there is a new idea, and there is always more positivities that you can pick out of saving your own money. There is what we call the investment clubs. The rise of the investment clubs in Uganda has actually brought about many Ugandans engaging in these ones. But there are a number of risks attached to them. But today, and in today's SMB Insight, we're going to look at the investment mean and why would someone involve himself in an investment club. Let's join the SMB Insight. And our very first question would be, what are the investment clubs?
An investment club, I'll answer it in singular. An investment club is a group of people. By group, I mean 3 and above, because 2 is a joint account. So it's a group of people, 3 and above, that pool resources, financial resources, periodically, monthly, weekly, annually, whichever it is, but periodically. Those are the keywords. It's a group of people that pools resources periodically for the sole purpose of investment. So the keywords are group, periodically, resources, and investment. Those things will form what an investment.
And you would tell me if you would choose to join an investment club or not. But there are a number of situations whereby investment clubs, like I said, are growing. So they're actually growing and becoming so effective in Uganda lately. Besides the fact that back in the day, circles, most of women circles, were making more of, were giving people more platforms for saving. The investment clubs, whether you wouldn't tell that there is any women investment club. This is quite open for anyone, whereby you get your money, try to invest it into this club. It can be used initially. It is more of a saving, but in the long run, you're making some money out of it. A number of challenges come about, more so when it comes to decision making. For people like some of us who've been used to saving with different savings and cooperative groups, you will find it a bit challenging for you to settle and understand that, hey, I will choose this saving club, or I would go for this particular investment club. The challenges are there, and most of these challenges are not mainly problems, but they are mainly conflicting loyalty. When you have something in your brain telling you, do not look for this, choose this, apparently. Well, let's just have a look at the criteria. What should someone do when choosing an investment club? What are those key points that someone should have at the back of their mind before choosing the investment club? Take a look.
In selecting an investment club to belong to is the purpose for which the investment club is set up. If you do not subscribe to the purpose for an investment club, then you cannot belong to that investment club. That's number one. I'll give an example. Someone could belong to an investment club that is out to invest in a bar. If you're a Muslim, you cannot join such an investment club. Or there's an investment club that was set out and their purpose was to start saving for retirement. If you're already retired, then you probably do not subscribe to such an investment club. So number one, it's the purpose. Number two, the membership requirements. There's an investment club that only entertains Christians. So you cannot belong to that club if you're not a Christian. So the caliber of members that join, as well as the purpose, those are major things.
Well, looking at the criteria, this goes back to you and your decision making, pretty much, in what I've actually picked out, is that there are investment clubs that may tell you, or there are investment clubs that will tell you the only best way to get through this is we have a subscription fee. Now, the rate of subscription depends on the type of investment club, because some of the clubs may be expensive, the others may be a bit or slightly having low subscription fees. The others are also investment clubs for retirement. So before you go in there, try to first read and understand the rules and regulations of the game, or the rules and regulations of a certain investment club. This will give you a prior preparation before you can eventually go into any of these clubs, before you can eventually try to engage in one of the clubs and say you're investing in this particular investment clubs. But, like we say, they have not been in here for quite a long time, because if you trace back a little bit of the investment clubs in Uganda, we cannot clearly say they have stayed for 50 years. Or maybe because of modernity is when we know them as investment clubs. But there is always risks attached to such clubs, and one of the reasons as to why Ugandans are still skeptical about joining these particular investment clubs. Let's have a look at the risks attached to the investment clubs and why people should get to understand these risks before even investing in these clubs. Take a look.
Depending on the controls that you have in place or the governance structures, younger clubs tend to attract a bit higher risk than older clubs because they are still weak. They probably do not have a bank account yet, or their registration status. If you have just started a club 3 months ago, then some of the controls are still a bit weak. So younger clubs tend to attract a bit higher risk. It, however, does not mean that they cannot work. They can definitely work if you have got proper structures. If you have got, for example, good leadership in place, you have got integrity and stuff like that. So yes, those are some of the... It is possible that you might lose your money. You can invest in something and it fails, okay? We've ever lost money in Chrysler Capital. We've ever bought land and it turned out to be a quack. So yes, there are risks attached to them, but the truth is the risks involved in group investment.
Well, pretty much he talks about the young clubs. Well, this is a bit threatening and a bit scary, because when it comes to something new, it is always risky. We all know that. We can all agree. And when you look at starting up, even when you're starting up something like a business, it is always risky for you to take it up. And but it's always your decision making that is going to impact anything or any decision that you make. Depends on how best you've struck that particular decision. The saving club and investment clubs, these are clearly different things. So when you look at the situation here, there are clearly two things here. We have investment clubs and we have savings clubs. Now let's first have a look at the difference between the two. What and how best do they differ? Take a look.
Difference is that investment clubs invest. Investment clubs invest in various things. Real estate, business, all sorts of things. But that's the difference. Savings clubs are only set out for the purpose of encouraging savings. Investment clubs do both. You pool resources through saving, and then you invest that money in whatever you will have decided to invest in. That is the key difference between the two. Yes.
So there is a difference. and quite a slight difference. You could say the fact that the other one is more of the investment. You see, saving is pretty much, if I could say that for me, I've actually grown up understanding more of the saving clubs, though the only difference the only challenge I've faced and what I completely failed to understand about the savings is the word cash round. As much as I can, you listen to the word cash round and everybody out there saying cash round. I think in the local circles out there, it is the only English word that you will hear, even when you go into the local setting, cash round. So you ask yourself, what does it even mean? For the women mainly, I think they do understand, and for those that have been in the saving for quite even more time than I have, but mine is pretty much part of saying, let me just go in there and save. So the cash round, I feel, I'm just too defiant or too against learning what it does mean, pretty much. But savings over investment clubs as of now for me, but you can choose for yourself according to the risks that are attached in there, according to the importance and why you would look for an investment club, and trying as much as you can, because people who are actually saving for with the investment clubs, or the people who have actually who have investment clubs, who are under investment clubs, can easily tell you they quit the saving clubs because they feel the investment clubs are better. And with the investment clubs, surprisingly, they have a number of people in there. There are investment clubs that are on social media, whereby some of those people are not even in the country, but they are still taking part in the activities of the investment club. So you can see quite a difference with the investment clubs in there. All right, as we